man himself, Jeston Webskowski, right now, running back from Clovis, hanging out, having some fun. How you doing, man?
Good, and yourself?
Dude, I'm good. So, been having some fun, been doing this podcast, been interviewing some studs, but I got to get Clovis on board, man. I got to get Clovis on board. And so the first time I saw you play, lights out. Like, it's stupid because all these Clovis running backs seem to figure it out all the time and make a name for themselves. And Jeston, you've done it for yourself. And I remember there's this game against Rio Rancho where you just like nobody had any offensive yards except for you. I think you scored like all the touchdowns. You had all the offensive yards. And if anybody didn't know you, they were like, okay, who's this Jeston Webskowski guy? And everyone now knows you. You know what game I'm talking about too. Talk about that a little bit.
That was a real rough game. I mean, they're a great team. They had some great defense. It was real competitive and everything, but there's some times I was able to break free and get some open yards and everything like that. So
sometimes you were able to break free.
yes,
I mean,
sir.
come on. It was like a little shake and bake here, a little shake and bake there, touchdown. It's like Jeston Webskowski, touchdown. Jeston Webskowski, touchdown. Come on, man. You killed it. Don't be so humble. Come on.
I appreciate it. But yeah, it was a really good game. I really enjoyed that game. It sucks that we had to lose that one, but it was fun.
All right. So it's a loss, and I know, but I think everyone started to learn your name, and then you lights out season, right? And you just absolutely kill it. And then we're watching the way you play, and it's just so classic of like Clovis running backs, and one that comes to everyone's mind. And a Greyhound like myself, go Greyhounds. And I know you're looking at Greyhounds. Was Kamal Cass, and Kamal Cass did such an amazing job with his career. Do you know anything like about Kamal Cass and all the tradition of the running backs in Clovis?
Kamal is actually a really good friend of mine. We talk a lot. I talked to him a lot whenever I was going through my recruiting process and everything. He gave me some tips and everything like that. So I have a real good relationship with him. He's been on the sideline with me. He told me whenever I had an open cut, stuff like that, what I missed, what I could have done better. So he's a real great guy.
I think that's awesome. And the tradition, I guess, continues. And so your lights out. And then obviously you have another year to, get ready, and you're getting bigger. And every time I look at Twitter, you're getting stronger and faster. And I think maybe the most underrated name right now, truly, I do, in the state is yours, is Jeston Webskowski. And people need to start looking at this. What have you been looking at college wise, and who have you talked to? What's that process going like right now for you?
Lately it's just been real heavy with Nimi, honestly. They've been talking to me a lot, just telling me that they're always in my corner, stuff like that, that I could play there for a semester or two, and then go play some D1 ball somewhere else. But it's still a lot of thinking to do. I'm not planning on signing until February, so I still have some time on my
Nice.
plate. Yes, sir. As of right now, I'm pretty happy with my.
Well, good. In my opinion, I think D1s need to be looking at you immediately right now. Not that Nimi is not a fantastic place to go, because it is, and they're right. Like, maybe it's a year you can go, whatever, however that works out. But I'm here to vouch for you, man. Like, I've watched you play, and it's not just me; it's a ton of people. Anybody who's watched you play, just talk with your coach, Cal Fullerton, and everyone agrees. Anybody I talk to, you're there. And so we hope that can go that direction for you. Whatever is the best fit is the best fit. Now, moving forward, and I'm going to talk about another loss. I don't want to talk about losses because you've done so much winning. But I want to talk about that Cleveland semifinal game, because it was crazy. It was like, Dorian Lewis is a big recruit too, and you and Dorian Lewis were just like trading blows. You have this 8,000, 9,000 crowd that's unbelievable at Leon Williams Stadium. Like, what was that like, that game?
That game was honestly one that I'll always remember. I remember walking out there and it was packed. Before we went back into the locker room, there was kind of people here and there. It was freezing that night, so we were kind of iffy about it. But then we came back out to run onto the field, and it was packed. We had people standing on all the gates and everything like that.
How can you not get up for that, man?
Oh, I didn't even wear a long sleeve that game. I just had a short sleeve on. I was so hyped, ready for that game.
I love it.
just back and forth the whole game. It was just whoever got the stop first, and they ended up getting it. So
People don't know Clovis is different. So like I've been out there to call a game or two, and it's just different. It's very much like when you watch those movies, Friday Night Lights and Varsity Blues and all these movies. It is very like people are different out there. They love it. People are lining up for tickets hours before the game. Old people who their grandsons have already graduated years ago and they're still out there tailgating before school's even out. Like it's just different. It's got to be kind of fun, right?
oh, it's awesome. It's a great environment. I love being just a one horse town. You know, we're the only high school here, so everyone
Yeah.
comes to us. We'll have people that will talk to us. They'll come over here and talk to us, and they'll tell us how their grandkids, their sons, whoever they haven't played in over like 10 years. You know, but they still go to every away game, stuff like that, because they just love walkout football. So it's really awesome.
So you guys are full of studs though. Like it's you got Chance Harris. He just signed with, Colorado State. You've got Jaden Phillips, who's a stud. He's going to UNM. Like you guys got a lot of good players. You've got to be aching to get on that field, man. Right? Like tell me you're dying to get on the pit. Like you got to be dying,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. I can't wait to get back out there. I'm just hoping everything goes as planned so we get out there because I think we have something real special this year.
All right. Let me ask you: is Cleveland in your mind?
I mean, they're a great team, you know. So yeah, they're definitely on my mind. But we're coming for redemption this year. So
I mean, I know you got to go through district, which is hard, and all that. But I mean, you got to want to play them again,
I,
right?
I want my round two, you know.
I
So
thought so. I thought so. You're too competitive, man. I thought so. Oh, what else? So, what's it like with this group, man? Because I feel like it's one of the better recruiting classes that we've seen in a long time. Cleveland as well they got a really good recruiting class, but your guys' recruiting class is unbelievable. So I mean, this has to feel like this is our year. Like this is the time.
it feels awesome. Honestly, I played with these guys since I was kindergarten, first grade. You know, so we've been waiting for this for a long time, and we finally started getting some offers our junior year and stuff like that. So it's just like a dream come true. And we've always talked about our senior year, how we are gonna bring home that trophy. So I just
All
want to
right,
get out.
be selfish for a minute. Be selfish for a minute. What is your all-time best play, like your favorite that you've made?
These there, you know, it honestly might be. So we're in El Dorado, and I remember I caught a screen pass, and so there's two defenders, and I spin off the first one, and I see another one coming from my left side, and I hit a hesitation, and he flies out of bounds, and then I cut all the way across the field, like yards or something like that. That might have been my favorite play last year.
You're about to steal my job, man. The way you explained it, the play-by-play. See, I knew there was one of them. What else, man? So you go into how hard is it not to be able to play this fall? Like, actually, I mean, we're going into winter right now, and I mean, championship should be over. Maybe you're more excited because you didn't get to do it yet. I mean, I know you got to be aching.
Yeah, that's the thing that I really look forward to. I'm just saying, like, well, at least my senior year is not over yet. You know, I still have another chance to keep playing football before I leave off to college and everything. But it's really just trying to keep yourself busy, just bettering yourself every day, working out, catching the ball, stuff like that every day, just to keep yourself going.
All right. Well, hey, count me as behind your back. I will vouch for you. I will talk as much as I can about you until you get those D1 scholarships like you deserve. I promise that. He is the man, folks. Jeston Webskowski. If you haven't seen him when they play this spring, you're gonna see him. Congrats, much success to you, brother. I appreciate you joining me, man.
Thank you so much. You have a great one.
All right, Justin, take care. We got Cal Fullerton, head coach, football, Clovis High School. Man, how are you doing today? And this is so we're gonna air this. It's gonna be a little bit later than signing day, but we're talking here on signing day right now. So it's a big day for you and all your guys, man. Like
Yeah,
this is cool. This is a great day.
it is. It is. You know, not only for Clovis, but obviously for the state of New Mexico, man, and as a whole. 2021 class has got some dudes in it, and big day in Clovis. We're proud of our guys, and with this, Jaden Phillips going to UNM and Chance Harris going to Colorado State, both in the Mountain West, going to get a chance to play against each other one day, hopefully. And, pretty exciting stuff for sure.
But that's crazy to me because, a lot of people always talk and chirp, 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 chirp. Like New Mexico doesn't have, athletes, or they don't have D1, talent. And you look at this class, and I think the next class and all these classes is building. We've got players all over the place, and your program's showing that, man. Like you've got D1 dudes every year coming out of there, and like I think it's finally starting to come into fruition. Like you saw what Trujillo did with Chavez did with the Lobos, right? Like the last 2 weeks of the freshman. We got athletes, man.
So he's Mr. Fifth String, walk on, all this stuff. Well, he comes in and he beats Wyoming. Well, I'm go back to May or early June. I'm talking to a Wyoming coach about our running back, Jeston Webskowski. Man, I like his film, yada, yada, yada. He says, Coach, let me find out which one of our coaches recruits that area. A couple of days go by, I don't hear anything. Another week goes by, I get back to him and said, hey, what'd you guys think? And man, we really like him. We don't have anybody that recruits that area. Well, after Mr. Chavez got him that second half and brought him back and won, man, I wanted to hit him up and say, hey, maybe you should start looking down this way.
Maybe you should.
But I didn't.
But it's true. Like
it is.
I'm telling you, I think because of more players are showing this, like I think colleges are going to see that, okay, New Mexico needs to be taken a little bit more serious. Like, for example, Bryce Cabledew, I think he wasn't heavily recruited at first, right?
No,
and then all of a sudden a couple of big ones came, and now look at him. Like, look at what he's already doing in Kansas. Like, look at that.
Yeah, him. He got to play against Phillip from Portales, Bleedy, two true freshmen. And the crazy thing with the way this year's gone, won't even count against him. So, man, got some great game time experience. And it's funny, he came by the house the other day. He's back home for a while, and dude walked in, and I was like, leave, man. As soon as football was over, he'd always go straight into basketball. And with Coach Isler, he's always running up and down the court, would lose some weight real fast.
Yeah.
Man, I said, you do look like a Division I tackle now.
They don't want him to lose that weight either, man. No. Put that beef on him. Yep. He's already a big dude, but that's cool, the success that he's having. I guess I want to talk about the success of your program, man. I've talked to you off air about it and stuff, and I know a lot of people ask you about it. Eric Rodenhouse, legend. We know, like, Eric Rodenhouse is a legend, and it's got to be tough to take over that. But you really never looked at it like that, because it feels like you kind of just walked in. At least to me, it felt like you have taken this with no pressure, and you're just kind of doing your thing, and it's been really successful so far.
With the coaches that I have and the way that the kids have bought in, there's no reason to feel pressure, especially about that. I don't think there's a person in this world that can step in and take Coach Rodenhouse's place. I'll be the first to have his back over anything, and just a guy that has done wonders for not only Clovis, but for the New Mexico high school football scene as a whole. So if I came in and trying to compare myself to that, or trying to uphold myself to something like that, man, I'd lose from day one. So I couldn't go into it looking like that,
Yeah, but there's a little bit more pressure in Clovis than, like, say, I don't know, just any school in the metro area in Albuquerque. Because it's like West Texas down there, right? Like, I remember I did a game last year, and you go and we show up to set up, really early, like, I don't know, 1:00 or something. And there's like old school parents and stuff already, like, setting up the tailgate. These kids are still in school, man. Like, they're still like in science class, and these people are already getting ready for their tailgate. Yeah, it's different. It's different in Clovis.
It is. There's a passion, man. And it's if there wasn't one, it wouldn't be important. So, we take that as a little bit of pressure, but if there wasn't pressure, it wouldn't be worth much. Competition's the greatest thing in the world today. The biggest businesses in the world compete against each other every day. And if we're not doing something like that every day, trying to get better every day, then, where are we?
I love it. I love what you preach to your guys, and it shows, man. So, like, each year you've gotten stronger. I mean, obviously you've talked about it a ton, but it's a game that's going to go down as one of the better semifinal games I think anybody's ever seen, regardless of which classification. And that was last year's loss to Cleveland. Unbelievable atmosphere, unbelievable game, star-studded athletes just going at each other like that. I know you lost, but that had to have been something fun to be a part of, like a game like that. And obviously Cleveland goes on to win it.
Yeah. It was a super atmosphere, man. Our fans were second to none. Great atmosphere for not only us, but even Coach Ridenauer say the same thing. And they played in the Bulldog Bowl the same last year as well, and said it couldn't be touched that night. Just a bunch of kids putting on a show for 8,000-9,000 people, man, and playing their tails off. You get that late in the year, you're not having to coach a whole lot anymore. The kids know what they're doing on both sides of the ball. They know what's expected. They know the lose or go home at that time. And man, they're just putting everything on the line for their team, for their teammates, for their coaches, for their town, and just play after play being made. And the crowd being in it the whole time just put on a great show for those fans.
It feels like it. Obviously, we're all praying like we get to get some football, which would be crazy in the spring. But no matter how we got to do it, we want to do it. I think sports fans are just, people in general, that just for our kids. I mean, our kids, I think, need it, man. And I'm not afraid to just come out and say we need to get back. Like we could do it the safest way, and I'm all about it. Let's take precautions. But what better leaders than coaches like yourself and guys that know how to follow procedures and protocols and I feel like these kids. And you don't even have to respond if you don't want to, Coach, but I'm just jumping in. I feel like these kids, if they're not, at practice, what are they doing? You know what I mean? And so I think it's the safest place they can be. But that being said, man, I feel like if Clovis and Cleveland were to meet up again this year, regardless of where it is, in my mind, it's a state championship, but regardless, like, I feel like that's fireworks again. Both programs just feel like they have so many collegiate athletes and are coached well. Don't you think that's almost like a new little rivalry here with how much talent both you and Ridenauer have? And I mean, you guys are close off the field too.
We are, but for sure it is. But I feel the same way about Manzano. I feel the same way about La Cueva, Sandia, El Dorado. Those guys in our district right now too.
I know you got to think about that. Like I know I'm the one that gets to talk about whatever the hell's in the future. You're giving me coach speak, whatever, man. But I know that's what I see in the future, but we'll see. But I mean, how do you keep your guys positive right now, without not, really knowing if you're going to play or not?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think, in our school district, we've been lucky enough that our school district has still allowed us to have our kids up in our pods of 1 to 4 and workouts. And we had 2 sessions just yesterday, and we're going to have 2 more tomorrow. To wrap up before we go into Christmas break, and we had over 90 kids there on Tuesday as a whole. Man, it's
that's cool.
It's motivation from those guys themselves. And there's been very few. We got some freshmen and sophomores that don't show up all the time, but we don't have the relationships with those guys as the same we would if there would have been a football season. We'd have been able to see them every day. We've got a relationship with those seniors and those juniors, and they know what's expected. So that's kind of with those guys. It's kind of come down into those JV guys, the kids that are gonna be juniors are actually gonna be. I'm acting like we're still in summer. Our juniors now, that weren't on the varsity last year. We hadn't had a problem with attendance with those guys. So man, it's just expectations, and I think our senior class from last year kind of set those standards, and these kids that are seniors right now, even though we haven't had a chance to play yet, are still carrying those standards.
Lastly, and Jay Nisler, awesome dude, and obviously I'm going to get him on and talk on this show as well. But I know you guys work together already really well, and friends off the field and court and out of the school, Clovis. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult and tricky to share athletes if we get to play. But I mean, are you guys willing to kind of work that out together? How does that work? Because it's going to be tight with the schedules crossing with basketball and football and what have you.
No doubt. I told him, man, if they got 3 games a week, he can have football kids for 1 game a week. No, I'm just we've talked about it. We're going to do whatever it takes. I had a kid that, obviously this stuff going on right now was not planned when he's applying for nursing school, and he just got into nursing school at Clovis Community College for this next semester, and he's worried to death about, well, what if it interferes? I'm like, dude, we'll figure that out. And he got in. He got in yesterday, and man, I couldn't be more happy for him. Heck, we'll figure it out.
Most coaches are flexible like that? Like, I feel like you've got to look out for the future also, right?
Yeah, you do, but you better, in my opinion, you better be flexible right now.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Like, you almost have to. Yeah. Brother, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you stepping on with me. Hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you here in the spring, man. Sure, and best of luck, dude.
Yep, appreciate you, man. Appreciate what you do for our state as well.
All right, Cal Fullerton from Clovis. We'll see you, brother.
All right, man. Bye-bye.